Welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service. And coming up next, in just a moment, will be the newspaper review.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Newspapers in hand, and Chukwudi Okolubaja in the seat.
How are you, Victor?
Good morning.
What is that VA on your head?
Not sure.
Very agile. Oh, you don't look so agile to me this morning. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Chukwudi.
I hope I've dealt with him.
You have attempted to.
He's indestructible, this boy.
He can speak for himself.
Good morning, Claire.
Yes, we have a few papers this morning, but of course the nation is quite busy, very, very busy on its front page. It starts with government raises 2,400 special forces to battle bandits and terrorists. It has a rider. Training of first batch of 800 begins, and CDS serves quit notice to criminals. Again, the lead story on the front page of the Nation: government raises 2,400 special forces to battle bandits and terrorists. Okay, and just below the nameplate, Federal Varsity redeems neglect of Southern Kaduna, says Kuka. It's on page 4. And Eagles will defeat Zimbabwe. Econ boasts Nigeria to consolidate. I think maybe I should quickly just be pointing, since we don't have that on, So, and that's the story. Eagles will defeat Zimbabwe. Econ boasts. And this, of course, Nigeria to consolidate. This march is very crucial to Nigeria. It comes today. And then First Lady pledges 1 billion naira to combat tuberculosis. Youth Academy to provide skills, boost employment. This story is on page 27. And if you just, I will just go down a bit, you find another story here. 250,000 sign up to recall Natasha as INEC gets documents. And of course, the last one I'll take from this, the Nation. States receive withheld local government funds. That story, of course, is continuing on the inside page on page 4. And I think this is how the front page of the Nation looks like this morning. Victor, I know you have more than one.
I thought it would take some 10 minutes when you said busy. But thank you, Claire. Let's take the blueprint. And the lead story here reads, 2027, we still don't have structure, modus operandi. That's according to the coalition. Says finding alternative political party our main hurdle. Okay? And above that story, of course, the World Cup qualifiers is also there featured. Zimbabwe will fall, that's according to Ekong. And Salah Doba, Emir Sanusi rains courses on troublemakers. That story is on page 6. And Kogi jailbreak, FG recaptures 5 fleeing inmates. Others probe. That's on the left of the front page of the blueprint. And at the bottom, of course, the Natasha Gate is also featured. Just at the very bottom, port security. Nigeria has made tremendous progress. That's credited to U.S. Coast Guard. And the story is on page 19. I have no links with any militant group. That's according to Fubara, and it's on page 14. Foodstuff costs soar despite reduction in petrol price, page 18. FG to strengthen TB screening treatment nationwide. Okay, that's the much we can take from the blueprint, and off to the leadership we go. Above the nameplate, 956 more Nigerians rescued from Libya prisons in 3 months. Okay, and just to the right of that story, we are equipping Nigerian youths to compete globally. That's credited to President Tinubu, and that story is on page 14. Below the nameplate, U.S. to remove condition of entry on vessels from Nigerian ports. That's on page 7. I think it has a link to the other story, which says Nigeria has made progress. Okay? And the tiny strip speaks to the Natasha recall story. And ahead of 2027, personal ambitions may weaken opposition coalition. Stakeholders yet to agree on grey areas. Lobby of party arrowheads intensifies, and coalitions still work in progress. That's according to Lukman. And to the boxes to the right, FG orders probe of Kogi jailbreak is on page 7. Obasanjo Anyoko decries state of democracy in Africa. That's on page 23. And finally, dead Nigerians, others without will, may lose property in UK. Page 6. Claire, do you have one?
One, you said what?
Do you have property in the UK?
Of course not. Those who have property in the UK know themselves.
All the things in this studio belong to her.
Chukwudi's spy suggested he has an idea what they're talking about.
Property in the UK. Please, can we talk about the things?
Yes,
I keep on warning us about Victor.
Yes, let's do so we get enough time. And the story that is of national interest now, especially. And it's and I don't know.
And the ultimate number,
Yes.
elite forces. It brings a smile. It gladdens the heart to hear it. What you now hope for is the fact of there being different from what we have on the ground. You could just actually but because we wish our forces well, we bring a difference into the theater of operation.
Exactly.
I am asking here, how are they for? Do they have good rapport with civilians on the ground to fight the bandits, the terrorists? You need the local people to help you. Even if you bring them all the Apache helicopters, the Mirage 2000 in Ukraine now. Give them that. If they don't still have good rapport with the people on the cell, work. So those two areas are important. Very important.
I agree. This training has been meticulously designed to develop highly skilled personnel in special combat tactics, counter-terrorism operations, intelligence gathering, and hostage rescue missions. It said the program will prepare trainees for high-risk missions in both urban and hostile environments, ensuring they adapt to dynamic threats. And now, interagency relation that you talked about. He said, given the interagency nature of modern security challenges, the training will foster seamless collaboration among personnel of the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Air Force, as well as other security agencies. So, because I was going to ask, again, when you say special forces,
yes,
what makes them special?
Forces.
What's the special thing?
No, actually you can create an elite force in the army. In Nigeria, our journalism tends to dwell on the here and now. We forget the past. Good luck, Jonathan, close to the elections, recruited mercenaries to help get Bonu ready for elections. And to some extent, they succeeded. They didn't drop from the moon. We can also equip our forces to perform the way those people tended to have cleared the area so that elections could happen. It happened.
All right. So
it did.
Yes.
So Nigerian forces, who are noted for their being spectacular, on the field of operation, would also do it. Let them all think into the same, you know.
And I know it's on record that our infantry, as well as our police force, are one of the best, at least within the African continent. At least I know that.
Claire, you could accuse me of cowardice from a distance. I didn't join them. But it was Nigerian forces that stopped the wars in Liberia and Sierra Leone. Yes, they came under that umbrella name ECOMOG, but it was actually Nigerian forces. So nobody can downplay the efficacy, I'm likening them to drugs now, of the Nigerian soldier.
Okay,
they are something else.
Let's stay away from that. Let's stay away from that, Chukwudi. And
yes.
Let's not forget that this week, it's been a week of, champions of TB, tuberculosis.
Yes.
And I'm sure that for the past month or thereabout, the First Lady of Nigeria, has been championing that campaign. I mean, you see that on our advert and all that. So it's a week-long activity. And, she has pledged 1 billion naira to combat tuberculosis and Youth Academy to provide skills and to boost employment. And I think this is
let Chukwudi air his emotions before analysis comes. I have special admiration for the First Lady. She falls into the category of Victoria Gowon, Mrs. Babangida, Miriam Babangida, Stella Obasanjo. I have a way of grouping them, the one, being dedicated to fighting TB. I think that is highly allowed. She was a most decent person concerning her submissions and all that. When you get to that level, which she exudes, it's also to help her in executing the war against TB.
I think beyond, she's also brought in the experience, the legal experience she garnered from the National Assembly, and that's part of what to do, because whatever she does,
she's a quiet volcano.
Yes, whatever she does, has to be in sync, with another one. But I would like us to talk about,
another one.
I'm sorry, please.
We are actively edging you out of this analysis.
I didn't wait for me to respond.
Who says I like you?
All right, Victor.
That's a way of saying, well, I offered him, he didn't take
Victor,
it.
let's go. I have 3 issues.
You didn't talk about the coalition
There
there
is
for
the
me. Okay, go on.
jailbreak yesterday. Even if it's one of these, one of the things we are going to be discussing, but it's on the papers and it's prominent.
Yeah, we can
in
give
all
it
of them.
30 seconds or 1 minute. Yes.
There are a lot of questions anyway, which perhaps we'll talk more on when we begin to discuss it.
I haven't read it, so I'm going to ask a subsisting question. We're not ashamed.
No, leave it, please. Don't go there.
It has become
Don't
seasonal.
answer. You know what?
Jailbreak.
Victor is
Victor
is our correspondent.
One too many.
Victor is our correspondent. And I'm sure that during our
one too many, my dear Victor.
When we come to the conversation, I'm sure he would also provide, some reportorial insights.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the coalition, the 2027 coalition, seems not to be starting on the front foot. But then, that's how the APC started, by the way.
Okay.
It took some time to gain traction and get to where they are.
Yeah, sometimes they tell you, it doesn't matter how you start, just start. That is going to remove poverty from the lives of many journalists. If they start something, the president Tinubu was actually saying the other time, people should learn to have other income streams. But down to what you just mentioned, the coalition would be good for democracy. The more, the merrier. I think it was you who dropped it. Oh no, it was
but let's wait. Let's wait and let's give them some more time.
They say they have no structure now. There's no modus operandi.
Exactly. So
a party to adopt, a political party to adopt is a big hurdle.
They have so much on the table.
They have a lot to do, but it can be done for the sake of the Nigerian. increase our range of choice. It matters to us. It matters to democracy. We wish them luck.
All right, Victor and Chukwudi, I said this is not on the front page of the newspapers, but somehow I read it online last night, and I think we must commend people. Say, give credit to, those
whom is due.
Yes, whom is due, and we must give credit to the FCT policemen. We heard yesterday they made a very incredible arrest of a young man who had concealed, more than 400 AK-47 ammunition in a 25-liter jerry can of oil, red oil. So you can imagine. And, he was at the Yanya bus terminal. Do you remember the famous Yanya bus terminal where the multiple explosion happened years back? So, for the policeman.
Did you say AK-47?
Yes.
In jerry?
Bullets.
Oh, bullets.
Yes,
okay, bullets. Because I was thinking,
yes,
even if you dismantle the AK-47,
no.
they're not going to get
bullets
into that.
Inside the 25, kg jerry can of red oil. So I think for the intelligence, report that made that possible, I think we must give them that credit and say, well done.
But I'm surprised that that report didn't make it to any of the papers this morning, not on front page anyway.
Maybe it came late.
Well,
it's a late story, obviously.
Yes, we heard it, and I know
but,
that...
it's supporting what Claire just said.
Yes.
Our policemen are trying, given the situation they work in, given the rather hesitant cooperation from the public. We're not very good at helping the police. Let's just own up. So they are trying, but they can do more.
Yes, and
there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
Because if you cap improvement, there's no ceiling to improvement. If you do that,
excellence
we should all go
but
home.
it doesn't stop.
You're talking about improvement.
Excellence is impossible, but it doesn't stop good men like me from trying.
You're talking about improvement, and I also want to again say kudos to the FCT minister, because if you look at the road infrastructure, I see what is happening within the AMAC.
Can you see the kind of drainage he's putting up?
Exactly.
On
Jikoi Kurudu access. I mean, it's fantastic.
No. When Wike descends on work, work has been descended upon. Give it to him.
We must say it and so that others will follow. But the sole part of this credit is that while the government, ministry, the FCT is doing its part, giving us structured quality road.
Yes.
The outlets, the local government councils, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. I mean, if you go to AMAC, I don't know what AMAC, the new AMAC chairman is doing. Yeah. Because what he should do now is to take the roads, into the communities so that the drainage that Wike is building, you understand, would have, easy access. But if you don't have good roads, to your communities, and then the flood coming from the communities, pour out onto the highway again.
No problem.
So we are sending a very good, strong message to the...
Let's not denigrate him till you have handled the matter reportorially. Take a mic to him. Let him tell us his own part of the story.
But we are seeing...
If you don't have time, send him.
Well, no, but we need to. We need to let people know.
At least Isaiah said, "Here am I, send me." I have to say so.
I don't know what... Okay, let's talk about football. Eagles will defeat Zimbabwe Ekong Bost. See this. I just... What do you think? Let me start.
You know that I hardly talk Nigerian football. The glass house does not make me very happy. But I want to say that I like to see Siemens 2 girls the other time. Remember, one of them was supplied by my lookman. Mm-hmm. I think that they are not looking as flat-footed as usual. They are beginning to run on the balls of their feet, and I think that's going to make them do better. You understand? When people run like pap, we don't spoil. Pata, they don't play good football. But when they are on the balls of their feet, the way I used to run, 100 yards. You should have seen me.
Oh yeah, it's simply...
What do you think, Victor?
I know this is tough. Nigeria will defeat Zimbabwe. Here it says Zimbabwe will fall.
Nigeria will defeat
That's more like
Zimbabwe.
it.
Nigeria will defeat
we are playing
Zimbabwe.
in New York.
Chukwudi, don't ask me. I know you will not ask how old I was then. In 1977, when we played Tunisia. It was a crucial match between Nigeria and Tunisia.
Odi. Own goal. Ernest Okonkwo was home.
Overconfident.
Are you sure you know
Overconfident.
we're talking
Yeah,
about?
I know what you're talking about, and I'm hoping that when you say
Definitely Nyere
both,
would not know what we are talking about.
we just need to. I think we need to consolidate.
when I see
And
this,
6 points will do Nigeria's chances
Yes.
a world of good. It won't take us to the top of the group.
I think
but
we're
somewhere we'll be
redeeming what
close.
was going bad about our qualification.
you know why?
We're
You know why?
redeeming
You
it.
know
And I
why?
hope we sustain it.
I don't
We
know
will.
why I have this.
will.
I don't know. I'm not a pessimist. I love the Super Eagles. I mean, we have a star-studded, team.
Yes.
Or everyone there is. I mean, is a star.
Yes.
Is a star. So the Zimbabweans will come, see Osimhen, and get ruffled. But we don't have what was Rufai's nickname now?
Rufai.
Dodo Mayana.
Is it
We
the
don't have a
prayer
Dodo
warrior?
Mayana to scare them. That was what the coach said.
Rufai?
Yeah.
Who's Rufai now?
Peter
That-
Rufai,
Peter
the
Rufai.
goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper.
The one that would always
The,
gather
the
them
one,
for prayer.
the one with the face. And
Prayer before they started. As if the other team were not God's children. Nigerian people sometimes.
anyway, we just wish our Super Eagles luck. The match is today. Victor,
Prepare well
5
for a
PM.
match.
5
And
p.m.
pray against
5 PM
injuries.
5 p.m.
Leave who go win to
So
God.
all work must stop. Now, if you are in the studio, you have to stop
No.
and cheer the Super
No.
Eagles.
Don't listen.
All work must stop.
Don't listen to what Chukwude says. Please pray. Please pray. Prayer is spiritual and it works.
And the other team,
It takes
and
grace.
the other team will also pray,
Yes, they pray, but it takes grace. It takes grace, uncommon favor.
which is sufficient
You see-
for everybody.
You see this man. You see this man.
Go and play good
I don't want to
football.
talk anything. Sometimes
play
they
good
say,
football
are
and
you,
win the
sure,
match."
are you sure you're a Christian? Because I question some of the things we do. God will not be mumu. Work and pray. If you don't work and pray, warrior 90 say you won't take win match, you are lying to yourself. Are the
By the
other
time
teams not God's children? That's what I'm
By
asking
the time,
you.
who created them?
I beg you.
Okay.
By the time you go that route, then we
My
have
friend
to bring out our
my friend
calculators
for
again
Finigo say, make I hear
and start
what
punching.
But again, just before we let you go, Victor Chukwudi,
I'm not Victor Chukwudi.
I didn't want to talk about this, but somehow 250,000 signed up to recall Natasha, and it gets documents. I've been reading so many stories about the number of people that voted.
There are 580 of them that are, expected in that catchment and all that. The questions I ask as a journalist is, who initiated that recall? You see, a journalist goes beyond the surface. What is the purpose of it? Is it a way to counter Natasha? Are you sure it's a fair deal for her? I'm asking questions.
No,
I'm not investigated.
But Chukwudi,
Yes.
why do you want to ask who initiated it? Is it a way to counter? I mean, aren't there things that
Okay, you stop
Why
being
are you
polite.
asking?
You are just saying that I'm asking stupid questions, and I think you're right. No problem, my dear. You know me.
Well, I didn't say
I
that
am who
much.
I am here. You know.
I didn't say
No,
that
no.
much.
Even if you said so, you would have said the truth.
I didn't say that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it off, please? Is it off? I think there's a story again from the inside page of the Nation. Today, Chukwudi, we are giving you more than enough time.
I think you're using
yes.
me to kill time.
No, we're not kidding time.
we are
The
giving you
producer is asking us to take a little
A week long.
Yes. So there's a story
Amount of time.
on the inside page, and it says Wike distributes 10,000 bags of rice to Abuja residents. I don't know how many of you got the rice.
Well, I don't know what it looks
Well,
like.
it depends on whom the bags of rice were meant for. Because in Nigeria, you'll find out there are those who know the king more than others know the
Are you
king.
within the catchment?
Exactly. So sometimes if you think it's a free-for-all, this time I'm not talking about combat. I'm talking about sharing things that come from generosity. It doesn't always work that way. It still matters whom you know in Nigeria to get certain things.
Anyway,
but the point again is Wike has done something again.
I didn't I didn't ask for an answer. It was a rhetorical question anyway.
was
But here
rhetorical.
is what the right said. It says that the rights was distributed it's a bag of 25 kg rice to representatives of Muslim religious bodies, associations, groups, and special needs schools. And this was in Gwagwalada yesterday. So this is in Gwagwalada Area Council. So hopefully, Victor.
I am.
No, Chukwudi, you and I.
I am happy.
You and I live on the same axis.
I am happy for my Muslim brothers and sisters.
Yes.
They deserve it. And let me say this without sentiment. My child teaches in a Muslim school. The kind of things he brings home, to us, so generous. The packages are so generous. The other time he brought an entire leg of a ram. I said, is that how these people are? So it is time for us to give them. Let us extend all we can to Muslim brothers and sisters as they gradually come out of the fast.
Indeed. And Chukwudi, I thought this would have tickled your fancy. It's a small story here, but not small in implication.
Yes.
Foodstuff costs soar despite reduction in petrol price. Are you still buying your iron beans at the same amount?
I am happy I do not have an AK-47 because I may not have restrained myself from looking for people who are opportunistic traders. Kingsley will talk about vampire market cartels. They have a feeling that there will be a rush to buy things after the fast and they want to cash in on it. Does that take you closer to God? You know? Everybody, more churches and mosques are being opened in this country. But, except if my survey is faulty, more sin is being committed. Who is trying to fool God in this country? You cannot mock God. It's not possible.
But I asked you because I wanted a practical experience, even though the blueprint report was a market survey.
Yes.
I was asking specifically whether you still buy your iron beans at the same amount.
We've not been to the market for almost 2 weeks now. We tend to do this stew and the egusi or the obolo so that it will last. We are going to go today, so I'll give you the latest, from the market.
You talk about vampire
market cartels. It was Kinslow Sadolo.
Yes, that reminds me of the story we ran on Newsline on Sunday night.
Okay.
And this phrase should capture the category of people who, add detergent in making fufu or akpu.
Claire,
It's true. It's true. we honestly, and the young innocent girl didn't even know that what she was saying, was wrong. She was speaking to the camera and said, yes, we first of all, when we remove it, we use Omo to wash them. That they use Omo to wash
and soak it in detergent.
Yes, in detergent. Just to give it that crystal white, color.
What is this, that they lack basic knowledge of hygiene, or they are willful agents of the devil? What is working there?
What I see, or what I saw from the face of the young girl, who was interviewed, innocence. Ignorance, rather. I mean, ignorance of the impact.
Somebody taught the young girl what you're talking about.
The mother was there and corroborating, what she was saying. The mother was there.
So this kind of arts, and that's why I said NAFDAC must be on its,
toes.
Yes, on its toes. NAFDAC must go to the hinterland, to the rural areas, where some of these are local, food are prepared.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how many people would have consumed fufu akpu, prepared from
and I did eat. I don't know how they made it, but I enjoyed eating the so-called loi loi while I served in Rivers State.
What's loi loi?
Loi loi is fufu. That's what they call it in Rivers. Loi loi. I enjoyed eating it with the native soup, the Rivers native soup, while I was in Rivers. I hope, if they did, that what they were doing was wrong, they wouldn't happily speak to camera.
Exactly. That's why I said
it's ignorance, and that speaks to the need for awareness, greater awareness. And NAFDAC has a job to do in this regard.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Let's quickly end.
From the way
we're now being asked to round off. But core members to get arrears of 77,000 naira, I said naira allowance eventually. So the NYSC will get the backlog of the newly approved 77,000 naira monthly allowance will be paid despite months of delay. The government also dismissed reports of any disciplinary action against a court member who criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on social media recently. I think this is good news for all NYSC court members.
We mentioned it briefly yesterday, and I still repeated what I kept saying. If there's anybody to pay the minimum wage first, it is the NYSC member. They are still forming opinion about this country. Don't let them get off on the wrong foot concerning how much their country cares for them. Please, your minimum wage is important. Victor's is. But for reasons of grooming people who are going to be positive about their country, pay those anywhere.
I agree with you on paying them, but I disagree when you say they are still forming an opinion. At NYSC, I don't think so.
Well,
they have their opinions.
Child and adult counselor, carry the day, no problem.
Let's end with this appeal coming from Fubara. That's former
governor of Rivers State.
Suspended Rivers State governor. Fubara.
That's better.
Yes.
Grammatically and realistically.
Yes. Suspended governor of Rivers State is asking bloggers not to destabilize Rivers with their posts. And he says, yesterday, he cautioned bloggers and social media platforms against heating up the polity in the state. He warned those dropping his name and purveyors of violence and economic saboteurs to stay clear of the state. And this is a warning, and I think bloggers and those on social media that are fanning embers of violence should take note.
Yeah, that's it, Claire. I like what he said. Let him show that he's one of the people building this country. Because putting us asunder is not going to help us at all.
Chukudi, don't ask
I
for
wonder
more time
about the
tomorrow.
social cost of what was happening in Rivers.
Let's meet where we have to support the Super Eagles at 5. Have a great day, Chukudi.